right. Hey, I'm back with the whiteboard. I love these opportunities. Sorry, it's been a long time. Last week, I had the opportunity to speak to a global organization dedicated to reliability and maintenance. They had a quarterly meeting, and I had the opportunity to have an hour with these people. There were about 30 people on this virtual call. And I was able to be there for the first hour, their normal meeting, and then the hour where I had the opportunity to present. Vast majority of the people on the call were individual contributors. They were maintenance engineers, reliability engineers. There were, 15% were maintenance managers, planners, supervisors, kind of people like that. But the vast majority of them were individual contributors. Very cool technology that they were talking about. Hey, we've deployed this at my plant. Maybe it was condition monitoring on a piece of equipment. Here was the result. Another company may have talked about lubrication, what they were doing, oil sampling, all these best practices, all these seminars, all these training things that they have received. And it was very cool to see people sharing. However, the big 800-pound gorilla in the room was culture. And that's why they asked me to speak, because all these great ideas come into the culture and just get eaten up. You have great ideas to put continuous monitoring on a device in your plant. You put it on there, and nobody listens to the alarm. The alarm's going off and say high vibration. They say, hey, we really need to run production. We got to do this, goes into final failure. Thing breaks down. Everybody starts yelling and pointing fingers at each other, and you just go on another day. The problem with maintenance and reliability is the urgent always trumps the strategic. So the daily drama. And if you haven't been observing the maintenance culture, it's a lot of drama. It's a whole lot. There's a whole lot of finger pointing because the operations folks expect the equipment to run perfectly all the time. Regardless of how much preventive maintenance you do and problem solving you do, it should be working all the time. And we all know that that's an investment you make in your equipment maintenance plan. If you don't have the outages and you don't listen to the signals that the equipment's giving you, it's going to go down on its own someday. But the point is, it's the culture. This is what everybody misses on a reliability and maintenance journey is they see tools and best practices out there, and they just want to pick them off one at a time and just start adding them into their culture, okay? And one at a time, they just get killed. These tools just get killed. Hey, here's a best practice. Let's try it. It doesn't work. You got not only the equipment and reliability and production issues, but you also got the business issues when you go through these highs and lows of, hey, let's invest in the company, let's scrimp and save and delay all maintenance outages, delay all investment to save money. Let's cut all overtime. Let's stop all hiring. We've all been through these things. So anyway, culture is the problem. And culture scares everybody, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you my very simple, empowering change model, okay? This is brought to you by a company called Partners in Leadership, which exposed this to me about the year 2000. So I've been using this a long time. It's extremely simple and empowering. Okay, here it is, very simple. You start here at the bottom of the pyramid, experiences. Your experiences in your life is what made you who you are today, okay? How does it do that? Your experiences drive your beliefs drive your actions, and your actions lead to results. Very simple. Experience, beliefs, actions, results, okay? A lot of times people and leaders try to, by decree, change a culture. So they come in and says, we're going to start measuring PM compliance. And all of our PM compliance, I want that to be green. I want it to be above 95% every single week by decree. So they just come out with an action and, hopefully get a new result. But the problem is you got all these underlying beliefs and all these underlying experiences that set the culture in place. So that's why a lot of these things don't work. You bring in the best practice to do PMs, but it gets eaten alive by all this hundreds of years in some places, 25, 30 years in other places, very few brand new plants out there. But why this is empowering is culture changes one experience at a time. So, culture can seem overwhelming, but if you can just change one experience and then connect those dots for people around, hey, we're doing this, and you explain the belief behind the experience, and then you show them the actions, you'll get different results. Hopefully that's simple. What I'd like for you to remember is this change pyramid, but if you only remember one thing, culture changes one experience at a time. Create a new experience, okay? You can't change the whole culture at once, but change one experience at a time. Here's an example. You're in your culture and you're just dying, living this drama all the time. And every time you do, you have all these failures. You notice that lubrication is a major component of every failure you're having. And there are just embarrassing stories like, we haven't lubricated that in 6 months. We put the wrong lube in. Production hasn't shut down the equipment to let us do the, every shift lubing we need to do, whatever it happens to be. It's lube. It's got its fingerprint all over your drama. Hey, guys, let's create a new experience. What we're going to do at our plant is we're going to be 100% PM compliant on lubrication on our critical assets, these 20 assets, just these 20. We're going to do 100% PM compliance for lubrication. We're going to do all the lubrications. We're going to put the right amount in at the right time, at the right frequency, all those rights for lubrication. We're going to do it. We're not trying to do any cutting edge lubrication. We're just going to put the right lube in the right amount at the right time. We're going to do that on these 20 critical assets. We did an asset criticality. These 20 assets, we're going to do it. That's the experience we're creating. Our belief is these assets are going to operate better for the next 90 days. We're going to look at 90 days, and then we're going to look at 6 months out. And our belief is we're going to have higher OEE, higher operational time because we're doing this. Okay, so the action is we're going to make sure these lubrications get done on these 20 assets, and we're going to monitor the results at 90 days and then at 6 months. That's the experience we're trying to create. Now, you do one of these experiments a week, and you connect the dots for people like I just did. That's how you change a culture. And it changes pretty fast. You create one experience at a time. Okay, so hey, you're a manager out there. What can you do? What experience can you create? Manager, create a go and see culture. Go out, get out of the conference room and go see the problem. Use chalk circle observation, see the problem in the field. I promise you, the problem looks completely different in the field than it does in the conference room. In the conference room, you've got a lot of bias. You've got a lot of, fear of embarrassment, and you don't get all the facts. Create a go and see culture. Demand chalk circle observation. Those are other videos. That's at least 16 hours of observation in the data set for any decision that your leadership team is going to make. And then every time there's a problem, like a safety issue, a piece of equipment, unplanned downtime, what do? You get up, put on your hard hat, and you go see it as a team. Get out of the conference room. That's something you could do. That's a new experience you can create. You have to have observation inside of all decisions. You're the manager. You can do that. A planner, what can you do? Anticipate wrench time detractors. Be the person that anticipates what can go wrong. So you have a job, and it is to plan the installation of a pump. You don't just give them a pump. You give them the gasket. You give them an empty bucket to put small parts in. You make sure that you coordinate with production. The equipment's going to be down at 9 a.m. I promise you it's going to be down at 9 a.m. and it's going to be in this condition. I verified that, okay? So I'm anticipating what can go wrong. Coupling. The coupling may be good. The key may be good, but I'm anticipating it could be bad. So I'm going to put a new coupling on there and some new key stock on there just in case things go wrong, the job can go efficiently. That's what you can do as a planner. As a supervisor, you can take, what can you do to create a new culture? Hey, I've got 20 people I'm supervising here. I'm going to make one of them a kidder stager. This person is going to put together all the parts and pieces possibly needed, again, anticipating wrench time problems, put them all together and stage them out at the job site. That's this person's full-time job. And the other 19 employees, their wrench time is going to go from 19 or 15 to 30 because you put in a kidder. You're getting more efficient. Everybody thinks that, hey, I need 20 people turning wrenches. No, you need as many people turning wrenches as efficiently as they can. It's not just about, I need more people out there fixing stuff. Planning and eliminating waste is massive. That's a majority of what a mechanic does in a day is waste. Now, I'm not trying to offend the mechanics. I'm trying to say most of the time they're waiting on parts, they're waiting on instructions, they're traveling, they're looking for parts. That's a vast majority of their day. Fix it by putting a kidder stager in place. Okay, you're a reliability engineer, or you're a maintenance engineer, or a technician, you're a technical person inside the maintenance department. Solve problems. You see a lube failure out there, don't just restore flow. Get flow back going, and then figure out, how do we find this problem earlier? How do we prevent it from happening? Is there a design change we can put in place? And don't chase every single rabbit, every single problem out there. Tackle the big problems. At the end of the year, you know what the big problems are going to be. They're going to be things like lube. They're going to be things like balance. They're going to be things like, poor precision maintenance, deferring outages, things like that. How do you fix those things year after year that are a problem instead of the daily issue? Hey, this pump failed. I don't know why I'm picking on pumps. This pump failed. Last time it failed was 15 years ago. You don't need to problem solve that one, okay? Don't problem solve the pump that fails every 15 years. That's not too bad. Solve the problem that happens 6 times a month, 10 times a week. They're out there if you look for them, okay? So, hey, how do you change a culture? One experience at a time. Don't make it any harder than that. And then you as leaders, connect the dots. So if you make one of these changes, like I talked about as a maintenance manager, planner, supervisor, connect the dots for your crew. Hey, we're going to try this kidder stager. I think we're going to improve the efficiency of your work. You came into the gate today wanting to do a good job. We're going to make sure you have all the parts, pieces, and tools and the coordination to get it done. We're going to evaluate this again in 90 days, but I'd like to give this a try, and I'll let you know the results. New experience, right? One at a time. This is Joe out.